From Azerbaijan. Okay.
Yes.
Manisa, Azerbaijan. Lebanon. Okay, fantastic. From Istanbul, from Serbia. Welcome, welcome everyone. From India. Wow. We are really international tonight, aren't we? Fantastic. Yeah, from Istanbul. All right, great. So tonight we will be talking about collaborative healing for post-pandemic stress challenges. And the speakers are Rana Khan, the president of TEFL Kuwait, and Laya Mogadam, a board member, Tom Santers, a board member as well, and Anna Machura, board member. And then at the end, we'll have Alison, who will be giving a few remarks at the end of the webinar. But before getting started, I think Evrim Hoca, TESOL Turkiye president, and Sinem Hoca would like to tell us a few words about this series. And then we give the floor to our speakers.
Krishna, thank you very much. As you know, or you might have heard, this is a wonderful project we started months ago. We come together with our affiliates, and thank you very much for your cooperation and the collaboration, because the number of the affiliates is increasing every month. Now we have 10 on the list, and definitely it will go up. Rana, thank you very much for your invitation to your wonderful conference. I enjoyed it a lot, and we will be in touch definitely. Sinem, do you have a few words to share with us?
Yeah.
Well, I feel really proud because our baby is growing with our new affiliates. And well, first of all, TESOL Turkiye is our own baby. It's Bahar Hoca's baby, and our founding president is here as well, Bahar Gün.
Yes, she's here as well.
We're all here. So past presidents, future presidents, etc. So this Teachers' Voices is really we're all proud of, because we never talk about the trauma, but we focus on the solutions. And we reckon that it's not only our problems, it's the we should find solutions worldwide. We are a big family. So I'm really happy and really excited to initiate this group. And it's growing up, and we're all proud to watch it grow. Thank you very much, Rana, for all the effort. An excellent team there. Eager to listen to you all. Thank you very much.
Yes, Rana, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. First, I would like to thank TESOL Turkiye for providing us this amazing opportunity to collaborate. As I was just saying, that we always thought about collaborating, but we never could take the initiative. So, I mean, the pride is all yours, I must say, and you showed us the way. So we are so proud of this collaborative, and I'm sure we can make the most of it. Allow me to share my screen first so that we can start. And I think TEFL Kuwait is a kind of an effort to find solace and PD opportunity. So I would start by introducing TEFL Kuwait, how we founded it together, and how it helped us get over this whole pandemic in a wonderful way. So this is what our story. This is how our story goes. So my title is going to be Adapting to Post-Pandemic Stress Through PD Opportunities, as was the common theme for us. So I'm President TEFL Kuwait, and I'm also the Academic Chair to the School of Foundation and General Education, Canadian College, Kuwait. So, well, this all started back in 2020, when we were unaware of the pandemic that was coming. We just heard news, we were organizing a small kind of a webinar to another common group, TESOL Gulf, which we had founded. And we had friends from TESOL International who live close by in Saudi Arabia. And we were discussing that there's something called, we hear some new virus. We didn't know that it is going to become almost a pandemic. So, but it turned out that the pandemic was not short-lived one. It grew in size, and of course it expanded to the world. It expanded worldwide. So everything started changing for everybody, not only for us. We got instructions from Canadian College, Ottawa, to keep students updated on how to run. And now the thing is, nobody was aware how to run meetings on Zoom or online. We never had any training. So everybody was very apprehensive. What would we do? But we thought still that it will get over maybe in a, you know, in few weeks time. But it was there to stay. And that resulted in lots of ambiguity and anxiety for not only for teachers, but also for students. There was a lot of stress, emotional stress, mental stress, and we didn't know how to respond to it. We were just trying to provide support to each other. Now the initial hitch was to find ways not only to connect and communicate, but also how to run our classes. And it caused a lot of stress to everyone, not only to students, but also to teachers. And there was no support, as I mentioned, how to run sessions synchronous or asynchronous. Whatever little training we had was not sufficient to provide the kind of support that students needed in classes. And this was causing us also a lot of problems. It was during this time that we realized that we needed to improve through peer learning, peer support, teachers helping others. And it's not only within Kuwait, but also outside. And that's how this whole idea of starting a virtual group came into existence. So TEFL Kuwait initially was meant to be a virtual group because we did not know how long the pandemic is going to last. So, and it seemed to be the only solution for us to connect and communicate and to link teachers within Kuwait initially, but then we realized that we needed to connect teachers within MENA region as well, because we had, you know, wonderful network. We had colleagues in the MENA region, so we decided, okay, let's open these gates to teachers in the MENA region as well. Initially, we decided that we will open our gates to MENA teachers, but then we realized that this pandemic had become global, and that people needed to talk to each other, people needed to connect to each other. So we opened the doors to the global ELT community as well. TEFL Kuwait is continuing to grow. Today, we can proudly claim to have more than 1,250 members. It's a free group. Everybody can join, anybody can join. The main objective was to help each other, to learn to grow together, to learn to grow out of our stress. And so, mashallah, we have a diverse community which spans across 7 continents. We plan and target sessions which are relevant to all. So the sessions are very, very focused on finding solutions, as you mentioned in the beginning, Christina, and Senem, that the objective should not be problems, rather solutions. So we try to find solutions which are relevant to everybody, because as we have a group which is a very global one. We try to provide a platform not only for academic growth, but also to provide latest trends and cutting-edge research. The final objective is to provide a platform for sustainable, transformative, and equitable and inclusive education for everybody. And that's why we have those special interest groups that help us to connect with each other, to find a solution for the different kinds of problems that we have in education. We continue to serve, connect, bridge, and engage educator communities to relieve them of, I mean, the pandemic is still around, isn't it? It's still lurking. I would not say it's over, because it keeps coming and keeps coming back in different forms. So we need still to continue to connect and link everybody through our platform. And this is the best we can do as educators. So join us to help yourself and help others. This is all from me. And this is like a very short what do we say, like email, if anybody needs to get in touch with me. And now I would hand over the floor to Laya, who finds similar solace and PD opportunities through TEFL Kuwait. Laya, would you like to take on from here? I will stop sharing my screen.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Laya Mogaram. I am a board member and a SIG chair of teaching and learning in the age of grammar and writing in the age of ChatGPT, and a board member with the title of member at large at TEFL Kuwait. I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for having me. And I would like to start my presentation, mini presentation that I have. Let's get this started. Well, I'm an English teacher, teacher trainer, and academic counselor from the United States, residing in Dubai at the moment. I'm very honored to be part of such collaborative team and organization that has connected many educators from all around the world. I would like to share my insight about collaborative healing for post-pandemic challenges. But first, as we all know, COVID-19 pandemic has had an irreversible impact on all of us as educators. Over the past 3 to 4 years, with school closures, lockdown, quarantine, isolations, loss of jobs, change of lifestyles, and fear of uncertainty, trauma, anxiety, depression affected people globally. How do we heal from this crisis? I would like to start my story about TEFL Kuwait first. About a year and a half ago, when I was getting ready for my big international move from Los Angeles, California to Dubai, I came across a random email from TEFL Kuwait. I wasn't sure what TEFL Kuwait was about. After a little bit of research, I learned what TEFL Kuwait was. I joined the association and got connected with Rana and Allison. It was very exciting to me to have had the opportunity meeting so many educators from all around the world virtually. We had weekly meetings on Discord, which is the platform that we use to communicate, on different topics, discussions, sharing ideas, experiences, having volunteer presenters, and so much more. In a way, attending those meetings became addictive to me. Right before my move, I had my first presentation with a colleague of mine on New Year, New Me topic, which took a lot of hits. 2 weeks after I made my big move to Dubai on January 2023, I had the privilege of traveling to Kuwait for the first time and attending the first annual conference of TEFL Kuwait taking place in person. There, I had the opportunity to meet Rana and Allison, among other colleagues, which I was connected with virtually for months. That's when it hit me. Virtuality had become reality. I became more active with the association and I became a board member and a SIG chair. Soon after, I held my first webinar related to my SIG and joined the Fall Symposium of TEFL Kuwait and our recent spring annual conference of TEFL Kuwait in person. All these experiences have been very joyful to me and leading to finding myself to where I actually belong. At the same time, there have been other healing strategies that I've found very interesting to me. Number one is online school counseling. Being a licensed life coach from the United States and an academic counselor, many of my students approached me, both in pandemic and post-pandemic, struggling with trauma, anxiety, and depression, adapting to online learning, online schooling, and not knowing how to transition. Putting myself in their shoe, I felt their pain. So I decided to hold weekly sessions individually and group sessions and training sessions besides classes by listening to them and teaching them, seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Another key factor was addressing mental health stigma, which I believe it is on the next page. When addressing mental health stigma, we address challenging stigma and promoting open conversations about mental health, particularly in the context of post-pandemic stress and the emotional toll it had taken on individuals and communities. Having the chance to open up and talking about a pile of emotions that was buried gave the individuals the chance to lighten up and to be able to see through the dark and feel the present and hoping for a brighter future. Another key factor was teacher wellness workshops. I personally attended universities that hosted workshops, webinars, seminars that specifically tailored to educators covering topics such as stress management, mindfulness techniques, and self-care strategies. An important note about mindfulness programs were that it focused on the sessions that reduced stress, improved focus, and enhanced overall well-being, both in person and online sessions. Promoting self-care practices and celebrating staff wellness days, which is the most interesting to me. It focused on prioritizing mental, emotional, and physical well-being, such as relaxation techniques like yoga, meditation, team building, activities, and healthy lifestyle habits. Last but not least, peer support network, which was conducted by participating in formal and informal network setting, which teachers connected with colleagues for peer support, mentorship, leadership, and sharing resources. This included regular meetings, online forums, or buddy systems, which therapists, life coaches, were invited as speakers and presenters and talked about different stress management coping mechanisms and strategies to adapt to a new norm and lifestyle. I personally attended many workshops and meetings at Los Angeles Community College District and Long Beach City College, where I work virtually from Dubai and the United States, where we had therapists invited as speakers, and they spoke about raising self-awareness and how to cope with trauma caused by pandemic, and I found it very insightful. After going all this, my motto of the day is health is wealth. Thank you, and this was my mini presentation, and I hope that you guys like it. Now I have the floor is to Tom.
I think you are muted, Tom. If you could unmute yourself, that would be fantastic. Thank you.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right. So I'd
You're
like to
good.
join in with everyone regarding the issue, which I found as the building principal. So where do I come from? I was a 21-year special education teacher and a 21-year elementary school principal, recently retired after 40 plus years in education. We had become a national school of character, one of 10 in the nation in America, and a whole host of accolades during my tenure in education. So here I found TEFL Kuwait and joined with my friends across the seas. And now we did an exchange where I was principal in Turkey with a school in Turkey for a couple of years. So I'm so glad to meet you today. So let's get on to the business of an elementary school principal and some of the things that we did, because I did work in the school for 21 years prior to the pandemic, throughout the pandemic, remote learning, bringing them back in hybrid, and then transitioning throughout the new principal coming in. So American Health at this time is saying 31% of the parents report that their children's mental health has deteriorated post-pandemic. This is an increase in emergency visits to mental health at the hospital for children 5 to 11, 24%. In adolescents, 12 to 17, 31%. We know that the onset of mental illness for children, 50%, begins at age 14. So this has been an educational challenge for educators because schools struggle to meet mental health needs effectively due to the shortage of mental health professionals. And at the same time, as mentioned previously, there's a teacher deficiency in training in the area of mental health. That exacerbates the issue. Notice that there's a result 4 times more disciplinary removals of children that have mental health concerns. So that brings us to how do we solve that, and how did I work throughout this process? So for me, it was social emotional learning, the whole area of dealing with a holistic educational approach to children. This promotes mental well-being. It supports anxiety and stress relief, as well as coping skills. It does boost academic performance on testing and standardized testing that the research says. Also, behavioral issues are decreased because of the proactive and pro-social behaviors that are taking in the school culture. These inclusive benefits are across all demographics and lifelong, because students that understand the importance of social emotional learning, in addition to their academics, take that in their professional and personal life later on. What 2 areas are supports for you as a teacher or as an educator? You should look into the CASEL standards. That stands for Collaborative Academic, Social, and Emotional Learning, and also character.org, which has 11 principles. Our school was named one of 10 schools across America as a national school of character. And now I am actually on the committee to review applications for that. So I would encourage you to take a look at these 2 programs. In 2001, they had what they call a SEL Day, and there's one upcoming. So that's another area you may want to look into. SEL Day 2024 is March the 8th, and you can find that on selday.org. In 2001, during the pandemic, I happened to be the world leader in social emotional learning. It was a nice celebration. They put world traveler because I did volunteer work for many years on 5 different continents as a teacher. I would save up and go overseas and work with children. So I ended up being the world leader. And these are some of the practices that I implemented during pandemic, post-pandemic, pre-pandemic. And I thought I would share them with you. They're very practical. They just come from the ground level where I work. So here we go with some of these ideas. One of the first things is I'm a principal on wheels. It's important to roll around the building, to be in the classrooms, to be in the hallways, to be visible. Parents love it, students love it, teachers love it. Why? It builds relationships, visibility, builds community and trust. Students you can connect with, teachers can collaborate with you in the building. You also create a safe environment by being in the hallways, and it also deters disruptive behavior. At the same time, it puts accountability that everyone is on task and moving forward with the mission and the goals of the school. Something else that's important is data sharing. Todd Park says data by itself is useless. Data is only useful if you apply it. So during the pandemic and post-pandemic, what we did is I held a meeting in the all-purpose room where teachers would rotate every 10 minutes and get a snapshot and a highlight of the data from the students in their classroom. The nurse would talk about students who had medical concerns. The teachers that had taught students that were struggling in basic skills and math or literacy, would talk about the students and their scores and how we could approach that. If there was special education involved, that was addressed as well. So data sharing is key to post-pandemic education, to monitor data, to review the data, and then ongoing progress monitoring on the students' performance and growth process. Then as we move forward, you need resources. It's important to have resources for the students to address the 5 areas of framework in TESOL, which are self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, relationship skills, and responsible decision-making. Teachers need books. So what I did is I purchased books. We put them in order, categorized them. The teachers had them as picture books for conversations with the children. So it's important to have SEL resources as well. And I would encourage you to do that. Another thing that I did is on the morning announcement, as Charlemagne said, to have another language is to possess a second soul. So for me, I would talk to the staff who came from other countries. And for example, we had staff members from Vietnamese, from the Gulf region, from Spanish. And when I did the morning announcements in English, I had our friends that were on staff interpret the announcement from English to their native language. This linguistic diversity was celebrated throughout the school. I remember one teacher say to me, when the speaker spoke in Arabic, all the students that came from the Gulf region in his classroom stood up and gave it applause. It was the first time that they heard their language in our school over the microphone. So I would encourage you to do similar things to invite a diverse, compassionate school culture where the staff are recognized and honored and the students are as well. Next, we have monthly core values. This is very important. We had core values each month. So they would talk about giving, courage, integrity, and rather having a pledge that the school dictated to the students, we included student voice. Each classroom, under the guidance of the teacher, would hold a discussion that was age appropriate and relatable to the students, and they would discuss the value, and they would come up with their own class pledge for the month. Remind the Arabian proverb says a promise is a cloud, but fulfillment is rain. So for us, it was important to have rain come down in the classroom by students making up their own pledges that were personable and relatable to them. Art of conversation is also a key post-pandemic. Student voice needs to be heard. So what we would do is I would split the boys and girls into gender-separated dialogue. There was no agenda, student-driven conversation for 20 minutes. I found that the girls mainly talked about feelings and emotions and relationships, and the boys talked about structure and organization. And then the children would go back to their classroom teacher. The boys and girls would present what they discussed together. And once they did that, they would begin to problem solve. Once the problem was solved or addressed, or they had continued question, then I would come in as the administrator and chat with the children. Again, the art of conversation without an adult agenda, but with a student-led agenda with student voice is key to unlocking growth during post-pandemic times. Something else is appreciation education. I do believe the Dalai Lama said the roots of all goodness lie in the soil of appreciation for goodness. Oftentimes we as educators take time with the non-compliant students. I felt it was important to switch that. So I switched it to compliant students. What did I do? I had this little purple card, purple for royalty. I would walk to the classroom, hold the card up to the teacher. The teacher would immediately know that they would pick someone who was compliant in their classroom and say, Mr. Santo wants to see you. The student would exit the classroom, walk with me, and then I would pour praise on the student for being such a good student. That increased trust and respect for the student. Oftentimes it improved the student's academic and personal growth, safety as well, a boost their self-esteem and confidence. A secret pass is something that you can use as well. I put that on the pathway to success for students who are having difficulty in class. And this secret pass is basically the student write their name. They could use it 5 times in 1 month. And on the back of it, when they would exit a classroom, when they held up the pass, teacher could not ask a question. The student would remove themselves from the situation where they felt frustrated or anxious. Come to my office. And then on the back, I would put the date and time the student arrived and what content area they were working on. That would give me a pattern that I would begin to investigate to see why the student was frustrated. Here's an example when the student held it up. Instruction is not interrupted. The teacher can continue. The student begins to pre-monitor behaviors and decrease in discipline referrals. One student said the letter to me and said, when I was in 6th grade, I was diagnosed with OCD and ADHD. When I felt overwhelmed in class, I was given a secret pass. This pass allowed me to go to the principal's office to talk to him and calm down. For this, I thank him very much. Something else is a brain break. In the hallways, I posted exercises for students to do. Run in place for 60 seconds, do some push-ups, and they're all listed there. The students would start at the beginning and begin to do some physical exercise when they felt nervous, anxious, or frustrated in class, and then return to class. This helped the students enhance focus and attention. It also improved behavior. Besides having physical benefits, stress reduction took place and emotional regulations. All in all, it enhanced social skills, team building, and the teachers were very supportive of this practice. Remember, a healthy brain is a learning brain. And then Abilities Day for students that have special needs. There's no greater disability in society than the inability to see the person as more. So what we would do is we would promote a culture of recognizing abilities over limitations. How? We had the special needs students or classified students take the lead. They would develop 4 stations with the support of the special education staff, and the students themselves would begin to vocalize how they were able to cope and the strategies they used in school to be successful. We had an anti-bullying station, a communication station that showed the students how they used PECs and augmented devices, sensory station as well, and then adaptive PE. And this helped the entire school community to celebrate diversity and empowers the abilities and also foster an inclusion. And then lastly, as we come to a close, community partnerships. Research is showing the importance of schools partnering and building bridges between individuals and organizations, just like we're doing today with TEFL Kuwait and TESOL Turkey. We're pulling together. What does the research says? That when we do these things, it does make stronger emotional skills for those involved. It nurtures growth. It also enhances engagement. Diverse opportunities gives us a new perspective. It improves outcomes because meaningful engagement leads to better grades and increased rates of promotion, and deeper connections also strengthen ties within the community, the wider community, and creates an inclusive educational environment. So for me, it's a wonderful opportunity to share these things with you. I could thank you, shukran, thank you very much, TEFL Kuwait and TESOL Turkey, for bringing educator communities together. A quote that reminded me of you, Rana and Allison, and our friends from Turkey is, you are leaders who know the way, you're going the way, and you're showing the way to all of us. So I would like to say shukran, thank you.
Thank you so much, Tom. And I think it's Anna's turn, right, Anna? Yeah. All right.
Yes. Hello. Hello, everybody. It's a pleasure and honor to be here. So greetings from Cork, Ireland. And well, without further ado, let me just put my presentation on and briefly, I am a teacher. I'm a teacher trainer. I'm a neurolanguage coach as well, accredited by the International Coaching Federation. And it's all about those neuro things and the connections that we make our thoughts, our feelings, and an action. So collaborative healing is something at the core. And as a lecturer, quite often I raise awareness on holistic approach. When we talk about post-pandemic stress, to be honest, it's still there, and it's all about building resilience too. Prevention is better than cure. Well, I believe that what happened a few years ago, nobody was right now to find some coping mechanisms and put in some systems that are going to work. At the same time, we know that, well, we are joining this wonderful meeting. We are talking to each other, but we have different challenges, right? And during the pandemic as well, it was all different to each of us. It was our family situation, okay? How about the nearest circle? Work situation. So to be honest, I will try to present now a more reflective approach. So when you think of collaboration, it's all about expanding horizons. Now, here I am sitting with you, and I'm so happy, although I've been working internationally for many, many years, like teaching 20 years, the last 10 years, mainly focusing on neurodiversity as a dyslexia tutor and specialist in all neurodiversity informed practice, medical device science, and a lot more. The focus is expand your horizons. Why am I talking about it? Well, during the pandemic and right after that, a lot of teachers were, well, coming to me anyways as a therapist. I mainly do cognitive behavioral therapy, therapeutic use of mindfulness, or NLP, neurolinguistic programming. They were trying to just find a new perspective and find the ground, okay, new ground. And a lot of them were thinking of quitting. And I said, don't, it's your passion. Please stop. No, let's see what we can do. So expanding horizons in a way that you can just use your skills, hold on, stop. Sometimes you need to step back, okay, to move forward later. And it is a process. So that process involves little steps. What can that be? Well, some teachers just thought, okay, so how about working online or starting a new business? Okay, so different opportunities there. And as I mentioned before, a lot of self-reflection is involved. So before you decide to just give up, how about connecting with other people? And well, let's try to focus on solutions. And that's always my approach to, okay, whatever has happened, but what can we learn from that? Okay, and be better prepared. Once you connect with other people, well, it's the ripple effect. And that's amazing, right? So what do I mean by that? Few words: self-reflection, being mindful, and not tomorrow, not next month, okay? It's quite organic for each of us. So being reflective means you as a teacher working with your students, you get your energy from the students and you pass this on too, okay? Now, myself working with neurodivergent students, but not only, because here I'm talking about primary and secondary learners, but also I'm a university language teacher. So I really can relate to different situations and different teachers, meaning new teachers trying to help their learners with reducing anxiety, anger. A lot of triggers have come up. So focusing on positivity and introducing into the class new forms. What are they? Well, the holistic approach talks about mind, body, and soul. So trying to build better rapport with your students, okay? Sometimes I've noticed just silent sufferers. Those are students that would not tell you about traumas. It was just too hard for them, okay? So body language, communication, being more open, a feel-good lesson, multisensory learning, okay? So personalizing activities and creating a series or very short, but very detailed at the same time with active listening, okay? A lot of movement, maybe music, rhythm, engaging the brain and focusing on positivity and growth. Why? Because I always tell my students, look, learning is thinking, but you cannot think or even expect some action or be motivated all the time if your emotions are not okay, if you're not feeling all right there, if you're suffering. So teaching them about the connection of the brain, mind, and heart. That's the base of CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. And if someone thought, well, but we don't need therapy as such, therapy is such a word. But again, I can suggest, and if you're interested, you can get in touch, therapeutic teaching. So it is possible to implement and embed certain therapeutic approaches into the lesson. For example, metacognition. So encouraging your students to think about how they are processing everything, step by step, subconscious mind, and more. So it's all about progress and being with them, sometimes sharing something more, I would say, personal. We are all human beings. This is what makes us human, talking about emotions, personal experiences. And it's a learning for everybody. So ultimately, it's about keeping the energy high. Now, the next part here, as I said, mind, body, and soul. A lot on, I would say, mindfulness, as Leah mentioned. Yes, but it's body too. So our hormones, okay, our self-care, I would say. So where can you get the energy from? Okay, some groups like we have that like at university. So groups with meditation or yoga or anything physical too. So let's not forget about that part. Soul is all about the spirit too. And it can be very individual, I'd say, but learning is not just the knowledge that we pass on. Talking about 21st century skills for us teachers to be open-minded, to be inclusive, to be holistic, and to be better prepared, that is all. That is absolutely every single element there. And I want you now, please, to think of 3 things or habits that you could just let go, replace them. Okay. And this month, what's important is think about why you're doing that. Okay. What's not serving you? It was a huge change that we have all gone through. So what is your action plan? Nothing's gonna change, as you know, if we change, nothing. So positivity, something that you can include into your daily routine. And when? That's important. Little steps. Atomic habits are based on having some systems, but you need to know yourself well, okay? What's not serving you? What are your triggers? What do you need to change to feel better?
Mag-share ka sa
Another
Facebook.
thing is collaboration. So try to find 3 people from your circle, well, who could join you in that process. Because if you share, that's kind of commitment, okay? And try to be really compassionate and more empathetic. Don't be too hard on yourself. What I've noticed working with not only students who would come up, and I'm quite approachable and it's always a lot of humor and positivity around me, but also teachers, they were like, what can I do? Simple things, okay? They were afraid that sharing the fact that they are not coping well, that it's too hard for them, will damage the whole image, the reputation, maybe their position. Like they were quiet. Like sometimes students would just wait, let's see and wait, okay? So taking action for visible results and focusing on solutions, always. Sharing is caring. And what are we doing right now? That's the best proof, right? So many people in one room trying to share experiences and find solutions. So why should we prioritize our self-care and well-being? How will you work on building resilience? I want to pass it on to you, please, okay? And in breakout rooms, you can think how it works. Is it primary, secondary school, public or private setting, or university? And what resources do you have right now? What's important is like your students are your best resource in the class, isn't it? So start today. This is a call for action, okay? And I can't wait to hear from you. So you can get back. I start sharing and say, yeah, brilliant. We have our ideas. Stop sharing now.
Right.
And we can add something to it. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Anna. So thank you so much to all the presenters, all interesting perspectives on healing, on collaborative healing. And now it's time for all of us to go to the breakout rooms and discuss ways in which we could cope with the pandemic, with the post-pandemic stress. And I think I can link this to Anna's talk a little bit, and perhaps reformulate, right, the task. And that would be, what are some ways in which you could help yourselves and your learners to cope with the stress, be it post-pandemic or any other type of stress. So I will now send you to the breakout rooms, and you'll be there for around 8 to 10 minutes. And I would like you to choose a spokesperson. And when we come back to the plenary, the spokesperson will actually collect all the answers from their groups and deliver in the plenary. All right? If we are fine, then I can just open all the rooms. Right? Okay, fantastic. Here you go. All right. So I even broadcasted the question because I reformulated so everyone could see it well. So
excellent. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we still have in room one.
This is room one?
Yeah, no. This is the plenary, but we do have people who haven't joined the rooms. So yeah, perhaps Natevan, Pitimat, Shatag, would you mind just clicking the join, right? You can see a small tab over there in blue saying join, so you can have a talk with your colleagues. Room 2 is fine. Room 3 is fine. Room 4 is not fine. So people are joining slowly, but this may happen because of the connection, because of the internet connection. Yeah. So I think that we can actually come back at around 9 o'clock, even though it's going to be a little bit late. So, yeah. You couldn't see the breakout, really? Okay.
And can I also join one of them?
I think so. Just a second.
I see Anna and Allison are in one room.
Yeah. I think you can join that as well.
Yeah, I can join room 4. There is not many people there.
Yeah,
or maybe room, let me join room 4.
Yeah.
Encouraging, I've been encouraging teachers to do is to take your lunch hour. How many people, how many teachers skip lunch to work through the classroom? And in Canada, we have extracurricular expectations of us, but they're only expectations. However, we feel guilty if we don't take on those expectations. And so another thing that I've been encouraging teachers to do is just say no. Do your time, do your best, and go home, spend time with your family, and take time out for you. Nothing is more important. So that's kind of my take from prioritizing self-care and well-being.
Sometimes talking about the problem is a kind of outlet, right? I mean, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay. So sometimes when we talk about the problem, especially when we are teachers of the same section or classroom, we usually do this in the very early morning when we arrive to school. And then we meet before, the bell rings. And some teachers start asking each other about what happened in the classroom yesterday, about it, especially when we have exams. We are from, or we learn, we teach different subjects. So we share the ideas about what we have to do. I'm talking here or focusing on students, not on teachers. Especially this used to happen during COVID-19. All of us as teachers faced many huge obstacles.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
they
Especially
do a lot of multitasking.
Yes.
right,
And
right,
none of us was also ready. And we had to struggle to get onto this task. I mean, and none of us
right,
was trained, and so when even see the students were not prepared for this kind of an experience, so they were also forced into it. So there was a lot of stress
right.
for students as well as for teachers. Yes. So I have some
Right, right.
questions. I can share the screen. I just tried to get a question, those questions that Anna had shared. Let me try to see if I can share them, so we can initiate this topic discussion, because we don't have any. Just give me a moment, please. Try to. I need to make this smaller, because I cannot minimize my screen because I'm the host. So I can, okay, now it's open. Let me try to open it now. So Nada, it's great that we can see you. You could join us. Can you all see my screen now?
Yes.
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 Okay, so these are the questions, which Anna raised. Why should we prioritize our self-care and well-being? And how will you work on building resilience? What resources do you have now? If you remember, she meant that she said, let go of negative things and try to something that you cannot control, let go of it and try to include something that is in your control and changes you positively. And what resources we have, and try to meet three people who can help you. So this was her tip. But if we were to look at this question, why should we prioritize our self-care and well-being?
Because if we feel good from inside,
Yeah.
this will affect our outcome as teachers.
Mm-hmm.
What is reflected will be positive.
Yes, of
This
course.
is what I think, because it's very difficult to have something inside you which is annoying you, which is bothering you. You are stressed, you are pressured. It's very difficult to reflect something which is opposite to what is inside.
So I do agree. It's really important to be mentally sane and healthy in order to be a good educator
Right.
in classes. Yes, of course.
Especially that the students read us excellently. The
Yes.
students, they are very smart.
Oh, they're smarter than us. I do
Yes.
agree with that. They are smarter than us. They can teach you so much. And actually, through this pandemic, what I learned was that I can learn so much from my students. So my students taught me so much. And actually, on TEFL Kuwait, as I mentioned, TEFL Kuwait was my solace, was my source for finding a way to deal with this kind of emotional stress, because we could connect with people like us, people who were going through the same situation, and students can teach you so much. I learned from one of my students how to communicate through Discord, which I founded for everybody, and Nada is also a member there. So so we can communicate even after events are over, something that can connect us. It's a wonderful way to connect. And this was taught by one of my students. And my students, they keep teaching me every day in so many different ways. I keep learning from them. So I think if we keep ourselves open to learning, whether it's from peers or from students, I think this is very good for our emotional and mental well-being. Isn't it?
It makes me think of when you're on an airplane and they say, make sure you put your mask on before you help the others, because you'll need that.
Yeah.
It really makes me think of the same thing here. You need to be your best.
Yes.
And so you have to come first.
Yes.
Yeah. It's hard though. It's hard in education. We know that there's so much.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yes. And how? And then the next question could be, how will you work on building resilience? So how do we build resilience in this situation right now that we are in? And
Well, I think you said it. You said it, Rana, when you said reaching out to your colleagues. I think that's a really asking others, how are you doing this? What are you doing to shorten that task or make this, and also sharing resources. Why do I have to reinvent the wheel? If you already have it, let's work together. So that collaboration is so important.
Yes, it is. Sharing resources makes it more sustainable. So we are learning from each other. It's like a cycle that goes on. So you teach me and I teach you. So this is, and since we have a very global group, Mary, it makes it easy for us to learn from people from different backgrounds, diverse backgrounds. The situation is the same. It's a pandemic, but again, issues could be a little bit different. So somebody gives us a solution from their situation, which could be helpful to us, and we can apply it differently and deal with it. So I think this is wonderful to have such diverse groups helping each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I also think that building resilience involves adapting to challenges in your educational landscape and using teaching methods by incorporating with students and also teachers, your colleagues, and in that situation we can build our resilience and stay updated with the new techniques and pedagogical approaches.
Yes, so true.
Yes.
Yeah. Aitan, would you like to say something here? Would you like to share?
Yes, I can talk about the self-care and well-being. Self-care is so important for maintaining good physical and mental health.
Yeah. Stanley?
And preventing illness and disease. Yes, for example, if our lessons are in the early morning, we can do them some physical exercises with our students or pupils to encourage them to the lesson and to get their interest to the lesson. And then
so we have to leave. So by the way, Mary, would you like to summarize what we learned here? Just a few points? Because we have to summarize, one of us.
Absolutely. Did you say me or someone else want to do that?
No, I said, I asked you. So yeah, if you could summarize. Just briefly,
Yes,
how
it's
we
me.
paid more attention to self-care and well-being and learning from each other, peer support and peer learning. This was the most important point from our session. Okay, thank you so much. So we have to leave the breakout room and go there. Yeah, Stanley, would you like to say something? Stanley, you can say, we still have time, quickly.
Thank you all. Thank you, Rana.
I think we are going to join the main room now.
All right. All right, fantastic. So it's 9 o'clock. We should have actually ended this webinar, but I think we still have time, just a couple of minutes to hear what you've been talking into the breakout rooms. So if you could just, volunteer yourselves from each of the rooms and speak freely, that would be fantastic. Just for a minute, perhaps, for each of you. Yes, Salwan, I guess. I hope I don't don't mispronounce your name. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Christina, and thank you very much, Rana, for this beautiful meeting between TEFL Kuwait and TESOL Turkey. I was in a group talking to Alison and Anna and Atifa from Iran, so basically at diversity, and we talked about teaching and non-teaching factors or things that we did through the pandemic. With teaching, I'm not going to go through this. It's, I believe, well known to everyone, basically teaching online. And so we focus on the non-teaching factors. And we made very good use of the fact that Anna was with us. So she told us more about self-talk and mind refocusing and NLP. And then I think Fan mentioned something related or asked about mindfulness. And Alison also talked about things related also to this whole and all of those things. And I mean, I also shared one of the things with Atifa, and I mean, we share in a way, like she's from Iran and from Syria. So our, coping with the pandemic was a bit maybe different from others, than since we don't have that full access to the outer world, but we could manage. And also, finally, Anna talked about, the importance of talking to your body. And day after day, I mean, I am in the NLP SIG with Anna, and I would love to know more about this, Anna. Thank you, Christine.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing these insights. Anyone else would like to share their discussions? Yes, okay. Marianne, yes.
Thank you, Anna, for speaking to us. It was very, very great to hear these things, because I think it is something that, regardless of where you are in the world, we're all struggling with self-care and well-being, especially after the pandemic. So our group basically discussed, taking care of ourselves, like on an airplane, when they tell you to put your mask on before you help others, you really have to be strong and be able to help those around you. And I think it's very relevant in teaching too. We also talked about, what are some of the ways that we can build resilience, and, reaching out to colleagues and asking for support and sharing resources are such important parts of what teachers need to do. Instead of being on your own island, building a community and working together, it minimizes the amount of work that you have to do. So that's what we discussed in our group.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Anyone else would like to share their insights?
I would like to have Ebtisam.
Yeah, I am here.
We had a little bit of a technical difficulty going back and forth, swapping. Can you, Ebtisam, go ahead and she was speaking. Yes, please go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, I am here. We talked about the problems that we experienced in my own region. Of course, we experienced during the pandemic, and also now when we're talking about post-pandemic stress, like, for example, during online sessions, some of the students had problem connecting to the net, the quality of the net, the speed of the net, and also having access to facilities that needed for getting online. Like, some students came to me as a teacher and told me that they do not have access to laptops, for example. We discussed these issues in our group, and also we were discussing what we can do in order to help students.
Right. Perhaps using their mobile phones if they had, and not computers, I don't know. But this is again a topic for perhaps a future webinar, where we can talk about technology and how we can use it effectively in our classes with minority groups. Anyone else would like to share their ideas, or we put a stop? Yeah, I don't know.
I will share a few words
please.
of wisdom.
Yes, Alison, of course, yes.
Wish everyone a lovely good night. Regarding TEFL Kuwait, it was amazing how it grew. We thought it would be maybe a local, and maybe a little bit regional organization. I remember reserving the room for one of our events, a physical room, in March 2020, and being told by the administration, well, sorry, you won't be able to have this room because we're going to be basically closing down. And then the shock, and then the other shock of like, oh, so many people. It's not just Kuwait and a few like Dubai and Qatar around the year. There are like hundreds of people that are asking to join. What will we do? What will we do? And so at that point, we became global. It's been a wonderful story. And the best part of the story is that due to an inexplicable coincidence, two amazing things happened right at the same time. I moved to Turkey and from Kuwait, and TESOL Turkiye approached TEFL Kuwait and said, how about if we have a collaboration? How about if we get together and have an MOU? And I said, well, that's kind of unbelievable because I am coming to you. And so it's the most wonderful collaboration I ever heard. And I just want to say one thing. I've joined a university here in Istanbul called Kadir Has University.
Kadir Has. Okay, welcome to Turkey, Alison.
Yeah,
Lovely.
I'm in my 4th week now. You know, it's all happening so fast and furious, just like that movie about sports cars. And the most amazing thing is that I couldn't wait to share with them. It's a huge department. They have an English preparatory program, and there are 900 students. You know, coming from Kuwait, that's we never had numbers like that. And there are something like 65 teachers. And so the first thing I said was, well, you guys, you're part of TESOL Turkiye, right? And they said, no, we don't know about what they're doing. So anyway, they have commissioned me. Here's the ironic part. They have commissioned me to put them in touch with you guys. So
wonderful.
We'll make that happen. So
yes, we will definitely, Alison. Definitely.
It's all good. It's all good. We're building bridges all around, and it's all good.
Yes, look at the coincidence. So, Alison, would you like to say a few words now as the president-elect? And perhaps if Melis is here, Melis, you're here, right? Melis? If Melis is available, she will also perhaps say just a few words, right? Because Rana, I remember that the last bit is allocated to Alison, right? As president.
Yes, it is, yes.
Well, basically, the most amazing thing that happened in TEFL Kuwait as soon as we took off, to our surprise, was that we started building our special interest groups. We have 11. It's actually 12, I think, with Anna and her neurolinguistics special interest group, who is our most recent person to join with a group. It's really amazing. This is our strength. We have special interest group devoted to learning through drama and the arts, research. We even have a special interest group devoted to math and language. And you might think, well, what is that? Math doesn't have anything to do with language. But oh no, it sure does. There are many students who do not do well on math exams because they cannot understand the English in the problems, the problem description. So there's a lot of improvement that can happen there. We have, of course, a hybrid learning SIG, and let's not forget about NEST. Non-native English speaking teachers. We have a special interest group on that, and I have heard that it's a big issue in Turkey. Can anyone confirm that?
Perhaps we can talk about this a little bit later, because we don't want the people to weigh that much, I think. Yeah,
exactly. So what I'm trying to say is that TEFL Kuwait has amazing special interest groups. We were amazed when Tom and Laya and Anna and so many other special interest group leaders came to us and trusted us and wanted to develop their group alongside us. So, and of course, the latest and greatest is TESOL Turkiye, and here we are in our first event.
I think all our affiliates are the greatest. So we are truly blessed to have these collaborations with all of you. And tonight's event was really fruitful and insightful for all of us. We looked at different perspectives on how to deal with the post-pandemic stress. And Sinem, Evrim, would you like to, I think Melissa is unavailable, or she logged out, I have no idea. Would you like to say your final remarks?
Yes, I would like to say Thank you very much to TEFL Kuwait. It is always that we have a lot to learn from you guys. I was really surprised when I heard that you have 12, 6. Oh my God. So we have a long way to go, really. Thank you very much for your contributions. It was very inspiring to hear all these wonderful talks from you guys. And Alison, welcome to Turkey. I remember our mails to each other. I hope we will host you in Izmir very soon. And see you very soon then, guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah. Sinem, Rana?
Well, thank you so much. It was more than a pleasure to have you all here from all around. Thank you, Rana, for all the hard work, and welcome to Turkiye, Alison. I knew that you were going to come and work with us. I hope your arm is much better right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking. It's perfect.
You can move them, right?
Yep, I sure
Okay.
can.
All right. Thank you all. So good evening again.
Thank you so much. I would say Christina, Sanam, Evrim, everybody for giving us this opportunity. And I remember, Sanam, when I last met you, you expressed that we should work together, and I did not know that we will actually work together. It is so great to see everybody together, such a diverse community of educators, from all around the world. And we are all together into this, so we have to learn from each other. This is my 2 cents to it, that we need to learn from each other. This is the best resolution that we can take as a collaborative effort.
Definitely.
I'm looking forward to maybe one of our TEFL Kuwait events, physical events taking place in Turkey.
And you should join us.
It's a great venue. Almost everyone all over the world can have a visa for Turkey, so we can all congregate right here in Istanbul or Izmir.
Yeah. Oh, it would be lovely. Yes.
Why not?
So lots of great ideas, collaboration ideas for the future. Right. Fantastic. So thank you everyone for staying this late with us. And we hope
We need to have a
soon.
Can we have a screenshot?
Yeah,
why not? If everyone can open their cameras, I can take a
Yeah.
snapshot. Yeah, just everybody please open your cameras.
Take off your
and
glasses.
perhaps with a heart as well, because of healing, right? Healing hearts, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Switch on your cameras, please, so I can take a quick snapshot. Very good, excellent. Everybody.
And your hearts.
Maybe I'll just change the screen. Everybody on the other side as well.
Yeah, definitely, because we have on the second.
Yeah, we have, mashallah, we have 41 members right now, so we need a second shot.
Let's smile.
Yay.
Smile.
Excellent.
Right.
Thank you so much, everybody. We're really grateful that you could join us. I don't know what time it is in your region. It's great to see people join from different regions, and maybe it's very late in some parts of the world. But
Definitely, yes. Thank you, and have a lovely evening, everyone, or a
Yes.
lovely morning or day,
Yes.
wherever you are. And we are looking
Thank you.
forward to
Thank
seeing
you
you
so much.
soon in future events like
I
this.
look forward to seeing you again in another event very soon.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Have
a good night, all.
Yakşamlar, iyi geceler. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Good
Thank
night.
you.